Hey, my narcissistic abuse family. Today I'm talking about a topic that I literally just posted about on the gram. It is yet another issue that I'm identifying and working to overcome. As children that were born into a dysfunctional narcissistic household, and be it like one of your parents were a narcissist, um, we grow up learning that love is conditional and that we are not able to rely on these people that are supposed to inherently, unconditionally love us. They don't. Our own parents. They even go so far as to triangulate us against the enabling parent or your siblings, extended family, etc. So we develop trust issues clearly. And another issue that I've spoken about before is catastrophic black and white thinking. This is also a result of CPTSD. So it's where you're like an extremist, kind of like you automatically jump to like the most extreme conclusion because this was our survival. It wasn't a choice, it was what we had to do to get by in this type of volatile, unpredictable environment. So later in life, we carry these toxic belief systems with us throughout life. So, in terms of our interactions with other people, forging formidable relationships, we condition ourselves to expect disappointment because that's all we knew. So, whenever we encounter new people, potential friends or partners or any type of relationships, we just assume that these people are going to disappoint us, that they're not going to reciprocate the genuine love that we have. They're not going to reciprocate the respect or the regard. So we shut people out. It's to be expected. It's nothing to fault yourself for. Again, it's how we were raised, it's the way we were trained and programmed. So we learn how to protect ourselves, essentially. We become ferociously independent. We are very reticent to rely on anyone or accept anyone's help, even. I mean, I can speak to this because when I met my husband in college freshman year, I always talk about this. He and I fell madly in love with each other. We were just completely connected. We're just meant to be. So he genuinely loved me in the purest way possible. No strings attached, no hesitation. He was all in. And I was too, like, but then I had all these issues, that I wasn't aware of at the time. So, therefore, I broke up with Joe numerous times. But in college was the worst, the biggest breakup. And prior to us getting married, I broke up with Joe several times. And the one time I broke up with Joe, I gravitated, as a lot of us do, to a narcissist because we're like, oh, this person treats me like garbage. This is chaos. You equate that to what you believe to be love because that's how you were raised. That's what you were trained to accept and to believe. So, unfortunately, a lot of us went down this road and you gravitated to a narcissistic partner. which only reaffirmed our existing issues from being raised in this toxic environment, that you can't rely on anyone, you can't trust anyone, and so it goes. It's just a cyclical thing, but we are cycle breakers, and we do it, and we're doing it, and this is part of it. We have to catch ourselves from constantly being defensive, from constantly expecting people to disappoint us. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people out there that are not of the same stuff we are. You know, they don't have the integrity and the passion that we do. So they don't bring the same stuff to the table. They're not necessarily worthy of dropping our guard, if you know what I'm saying. But then there's people that are, and you know, we just shut everyone out, and that's not healthy either, because there's good people in life, and that's the whole purpose of life, is love, right? It sounds so cheesy, but it's so true. It's our relationships with one another that is the whole point in our existence, basically. So, it's normal to constantly be on guard, to shut people out, have a wall around you, to not get close to people, but it's not necessarily healthy. As I said, coupled with the catastrophic black and white thinking, we kind of see people like, I love you, or I hate you, or you're my best friend, or I'm not interested, kind of thing. But it's okay. It's like, tolerance is one of the big attributes that you aspire to have in life. Honesty, you know, tolerance is one of them. So I am taking this into consideration. I'm making a concerted effort to not always assume that everyone is going to disappoint me, to let me down, because that's also part of the toxic programming that the narcissist instills within you, because that's how they think, right? They just have this negative perspective on everything. Everyone is out to get them. So they're all about like me. Like they have to look out for themselves. They're constantly consumed by forwarding their own needs and wants, and we're not like that. You know, that's the extreme of it. But then there's us, which is a different version, and we've just developed this complex defense mechanism to protect us from being hurt and disappointed and let down. As I said, if you grew up in a narcissistic home, this is just a natural response. And then, unfortunately, if you gravitated to a narcissistic partner and went through that nightmare, that only reaffirmed these reservations and hesitations. But it's okay. You know, you identify it and you work through it. And my best tool in my healing toolbox is being mindful. Just being present and really appreciating your current situation for what it is. Like, my husband and I have been through so much. And, I mean, there's still times that I snap back to, like, being defensive and not trusting or assuming something that's inaccurate about the way he's thinking or feeling. But, for the most part, I've made a lot of progress. But this also translates, as I said, to, like, our friends, people that we associate with in life. I think that we are, you know, we were isolated because of our narcissistic parent from having friends, having formidable relationships with outsiders, because they don't want to be found out and they don't want anyone to actually care about you, because that would entail losing you as their punching bag, their primary source of supply. So it's difficult for us to overcome this, but it's absolutely worth doing. Don't be foolish. Obviously, don't leave yourself open to somebody that is going to take advantage of you. That's the double-edged sword here. We have to be cognizant of who is worthy of our genuine efforts and investing ourselves in a relationship with. So I hope this helped you guys. This is what I'm currently facing, I guess you could say. I love you all. Please like, subscribe, share with anyone you think that this would help or that's relevant to. I love you all. Thank you for tuning in.